Hi, I'm Marilyn Allis. I'm going to show you how to paint animals quickly and loosely, with ideas to capture your imagination so you too can include animals in your paintings. We're going to start with a cat picture. It's a very simple picture and it's a lesson in tone using just one colour. I'm going to use Prussian blue, but you could use sepia if you wanted to make it look a little bit more old-fashioned. Just going to use an all-rounder brush. And I'm starting with the very light bits that I can see on the cat. So a well watered down Prussian blue. And just paint those in very quickly. And whilst that's still wet, go in with a medium tone. And so you're just breaking down the tones. And go slightly darker than that. So lots of pigment and very little water. The cat's got a white paw, painting straight over that because that will confuse how it looks at the end. Just keep squinting so that you can see where the dark parts are. And a very dark tail. Right, whilst that's still wet, I'm just going to get clear water on the brush and just pull out some of the colour for the shadow parts. Right, we're going to leave this to dry now, and then I'm just going to finish off with a few dry brush marks. Right, now the picture's completely dry, I can carry on with the next stage. I'm using a smaller brush, it's the SAA all-rounder. And I'm using a lot of very thick pigment, hardly any water at all on my brush. Just a few dry brush marks here and there to define the cat. And just to finish it off, a touch of alizarin crimson, well watered down so it looks slightly pink. And that's our cat finished. Next subject is a cow. It's a nice white cow, which although it might sound quite difficult to paint, is actually easier because you've just got to look for the shadows and the shapes that you can see on it. I'm going to use just a few colours. We're going to start with some raw sienna for where the light's hitting him. I'm using a big wash brush. I'm just picking out some of the very pale tones, but just to make it look sort of sunny. And a lot of him I'm going to leave absolutely white. It's just raw sienna, slightly darker where his face is, so just a little bit more pigment, less water. You can soften that out just by adding some water to it. I'm going to use some light red. Just adding some colour because there's not a lot of colour in the reference material. can exaggerate any of the colours that you can see. And then for the shadow, I'm going to use a cobalt blue. I'm just mixing a tiny bit of light red in that so that it's not too blue. That will just kill the bright blueness of it. That's the medium tones going in. Just exaggerated a little bit there. And now with a smaller brush, just the wash brush, I'm going to put in the very dark tones that I can see. Just mix that with some French ultramarine and some burnt umber. Again, very thick, so hardly any water but lots of pigment. It's a dark shape here. A few marks. And you've got very little on there, but he really does stand out. I'm just going to put a shadow to anchor him down to the ground. And I shall use that mix of ultramarine and burnt umber, but a little bit more watered down this time. And again, at a diagonal to make it interesting. I've not mixed it very well so that you get the blue and the brown showing through, which gives you an interesting shadow. And a few easy brush marks, and that's our cow completed.